The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCmedia News, how will President Trump's executive order on undocumented immigrants impact those in Fall River? SouthCoast Rail is on track to launch this spring, and the Diocese of Fall River celebrates Catholic Schools Week. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, January 30th, 2025. This is FRC Media News. I'm Keith Tebow. Undocumented immigrants on the South Coast are on edge as the Trump administration has begun raids across the country to detain with the intent to deport some of those individuals. Attorney Jonathan Vasquez, limited partner for the law firm of Leiter, Fogarty, and Ribeiro in Fall River, says his office has received hundreds of calls from clients seeking information on potential raids and how to respond. He says his client's anxiety is well-founded.
The rhetoric, right, from the White House coming out regarding these orders, and even leading back through the campaign, right, even before he took office, it's a lot of fear-mongering when it comes to this group of individuals, right? There's been this message that the consensus is they're all bad. That's completely untrue, right? There's a lot of hardworking individuals who are in this group of people who have been here for years, pay taxes, do things just as you and I. So yeah, the fear is definitely warranted, and the anxiety is definitely real.
Attorney Vasquez says he has advised clients to engage in limited communication with law enforcement if approached.
They're protected under the same Constitution that you and I are. So with that being said, detentions or stops and seizures, those types of things, we want to inform them of their rights. In their situation, if they get stopped, depending on the circumstance, they provide their name, they provide their date of birth, and that's perfectly okay. When it gets to the point of asking legal status, they don't have to answer that question. And that's what we've been kind of relaying to them. And then circumstances where they show up at your home, right? ISIS can certainly show up at someone's home. Unless they have a warrant signed by a judge, they cannot enter that home looking for an individual who they deem is illegal here in the United States.
Even if individuals are taken into custody, Attorney Vasquez says being detained does not mean the end result will lead to deportation.
Individuals who are detained and who they still have the right to have their day in court, right? So unless that person has a criminal record that renders them a danger to the community, that individual will have a time to be heard in court, as well as if some individuals may have already orders of deportation, right, from the past, and then maybe they have re-entered. Those circumstances are a bit different. But an individual who is here, who may already be in removal proceedings, and they get detained, that person will likely, once ICE officers and DHS are aware that this individual is already in removal proceedings, that would likely lead to their release, because the next step is to present their case before an immigration judge.
Attorney Vasquez says along with advising clients of their rights, his office also works on making preparations to protect other family and financial matters.
One of the things we're trying to do here at the firm is trying to put together and offering the services to our clients of putting together a power of attorney and putting together paperwork for guardianship. And we think that's important because, again, we don't know where this is headed. We see where it's starting, and as you stated, we're only 9 days into this thing. So there are plenty of individuals here who are undocumented, who have assets, and lots of single-parent households, and we want all of that protected, especially on the guardianship side, having someone in place to take over as the guardian for a minor child, and then on the asset side, ensuring that someone's in place to protect those assets moving forward.
There are reports that some of the potential raids across the country are happening in local schools. Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan says there's no instances of that happening yet in Fall River, and there are plenty of protections in place.
They're not going to be, I don't believe, walking into schools. All of our schools are secure. You got to be buzzed in. And when there's someone there for a child, we make sure the parent is notified and present. So I don't think that that's going to happen too much in Fall River, not from what I hear. I did hear from the police that they were a couple of criminals they were looking to pick up in the city of Fall River, but these were adults, and they had some very serious criminal acts on their record, so nothing about that bothered me. We don't want them in Fall River anyway, so I was not concerned about that. But that's all I've heard, and it hasn't been, I haven't seen anybody. I haven't seen anything, but I did hear there was an inquiry about a few individuals they were looking for, adults. I have not heard a word on schools.
President Trump earlier this week proposed a funding freeze on federal projects to investigate instances of suspected fraud. The White House rescinded that order yesterday. Mayor Coogan says if fully implemented, it could have had a negative impact on many city services.
Obviously, you look at community development, Title I, school money. Mike Dion's entire program is mostly all federal money. So those were not what they were targeting. They were targeting some specific things, but they put these things out with a broad swath and say, we're going to stop all federal funding or this and that. And that's not what they were about. They weren't touching Social Security, Medicare, Head Start. It sounds horrific, and it did the same thing to me, but at the same time, that's not what this was about. They were looking at some very specific programs that they wanted to dig into very quickly, and it wasn't many of the local ones here in Fall River.
Even though the Fall River municipal election is 9 months away, candidates seeking election are making their interests known. Carlos Caesar, the longtime and now former president of the Flint Neighborhood Association, says he's planning to run for mayor. He began work on his campaign last year and has set up a website and Facebook page.
It comes to a point that I think that somebody new has to step into the plate. A new face in running for office. So I decided, because I was not happy with the prices, the water going up, people being thrown out their houses and living now in tents. So this is a snowball that's been growing, and I'm not saying that's just this last administration fault, but somehow we need to get a regular guy there, a guy that wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, has breakfast, goes to work, and knows how much the value of the dollar is. And I think if the community choose to put somebody in charge that has the same feelings and the same hurts, the same pains, I think that that we will turn this around. And believe me, it's that's so many reasons because that I'm running, but I think I'm ready.
Mayor Paul Coogan says he has already made up his mind that he will seek a fourth term this fall.
There's a lot of work we want to finish up. I think things are going very smoothly in the city right now. There's tremendous progress going on. There's so many good things going on. I ride around the city all the time, and I note all the houses that are being renovated, new construction going on, buildings being renovated, businesses opening up. There's a lot of good things going on in the city of Fall River right now. It's funny because a friend of mine had built some condos down north, and he was giving me a blow by blow of who was moving into them. And just this week, we had a young couple come down and move into Fall River from Waltham. We had an attorney move into one of the condos from Barrington. And last night, he sold one at full price to a family from Assonet. So people are moving into Fall River, and that's a very, very positive thing for the local economy, for the overall financial health of the city, and for making the community more livable.
Stay with FRC Media all year long, as we will be providing complete coverage of the candidates and issues in this year's 2025 municipal election. The MBTA is moving along on finishing up the final details on SouthCoast Rail. Project manager Gene Fox tells us all safety training is complete, with service slated to begin this spring.
When you see trains running out there right now, we're qualifying personnel to operate the system. And that is under the Federal Railroad Administration's purview, and they're working very closely with railroad operations to make sure that we have sufficient staff skilled in the route to be able to operate the trains all the way to Fall River and New Bedford. That milestone we're actually a little bit ahead on. So we've done really well. We've completed most of the major testing, and we are qualifying people. We're still doing some minor punch list stuff, which you expect, and we're working extremely closely with railroad operations and Keolis. As of January 6th, the operation of the railroad, the entire operation of the railroad, was turned over to Keolis. We are seeing trains running everywhere, and we have since June, and they can run at any time, in any direction, day or night, which is why we continue to stress the safety messaging. It is really important for people to stay away from the right-of-way, not just because it's illegal, but because it's really dangerous now. These trains can go up to 79 miles an hour.
The MBTA has set the fare to ride to and from Boston weekdays at $12.25 each way, with a reduced rate for those eligible at $6. Weekend rides are currently at a flat rate of $10 for unlimited rides. The exact schedule of service has yet to be finalized.
We've determined how many trains we're going to be able to run to the region, keeping in mind that we're really dependent on space at South Station, which is where all these trains end up going. So bearing that in mind, we had initially envisioned 26 trips a day, so roughly 13 to each of the terminal cities. We've got two shoulder trains, definitely. We're going to have a super early one, which they usually call the nurses train because it's to get everyone up to the Longwood Health area in Boston, so that one could be 4:30 in the morning. Certainly not to my liking, but people do that. And then there'll be a late night one as well. So we figure at least 3 peak period trains in the morning, 3 peak in the evening, the PM commute, and a few during the day, as well as weekend service, which some people thought we weren't going to offer, but we are.
Ms. Fox says the MBTA is constantly looking to devise a service that will benefit the ridership. For SouthCoast Rail, that will include a shuttle service for travelers heading home from Boston.
So if you're in South Station and you need to get to Fall River, but the next train in South Station is headed to New Bedford, you can get on that train. But in East Taunton, you would get off and then wait briefly, hopefully synchronized, for a train shuttle to take you to Fall River from East Taunton. And vice versa. It works the other way around for the city of New Bedford. So that's going to increase opportunities for people in terms of trips from 26 to 32. And also give people added flexibility. So rather than hanging around at South Station, get to East Taunton and wait for that train shuttle, you'll get home faster rather than waiting that extra hour.
The Catholic Schools Alliance in the Diocese of Fall River is promoting the qualities of a Catholic education as part of Catholic Schools Week.
Catholic Schools Week provides a wonderful opportunity for our school communities to take maybe one step back from the great work that they're doing day in, day out, right? To come together as community, to celebrate what's special through special traditions, special events, to really take pride in what they have built and what they've built together, and what we here at the Catholic Schools Office are so happy to be a part of and to guide and support.
The 5 Catholic schools in Fall River, St. Michael, Espiritu Santo, Holy Trinity, St. Stanislaus, and Holy Name, are holding activities to commemorate the week, which runs through Saturday. Mr. Roy says Catholic schools remain a popular alternative for parents seeking a faith-based education for their children.
We're pretty steady in enrollment, just above 5,000 students in 18 schools across Southeast Massachusetts. We're seeing a particular interest in the middle school years here in the city of Fall River. A lot of inquiries there. I can also tell you, just checking in with some school leaders, that they are really anxious during Catholic Schools Week to hold open houses because they're seeing a lot of numbers and a lot of interest by parents and families to come and see and learn more what makes our schools so special.
Providing that educational option for parents comes with the cost in the form of tuition. Mr. Roy says the diocese makes financial aid available for eligible parents.
We have resources through FACE, through the Foundation to Advance Catholic Education, and about 1,000 of our students across the diocese are recipients of FACE financial support, ranging from $275 to $2,050 really is the range of support. That money can do as much as fund 50% of tuition for our students and their families. So it's a great opportunity. FACE does amazing work, and more families need to know about it as they look at our schools.
Mr. Roy says the dedicated staff at Catholic schools work to meet the educational and character development needs of students.
We have talented educators across the diocese who are committed to a mission, who give tireless hours to a really student-centered approach in the classroom to ensure that our students are growing, and our schools partner very closely with families in doing that. In fact, we believe that the parents are the primary educators of their students, and we join them in this journey in a very intentional way in a faith-based community. And we've noted nationally that our Catholic schools in this day and age are rising to the moment and really meeting a longing that a lot of families are having right now. To identify a place where their children are known and loved, where they belong, and where they're well supported throughout their formation.
Fall River's unemployment rate spiked in December. The jobless rate sits at 6.1%, up from 5.3% in November. Last December, Fall River's unemployment rate was 5%. The suburbs around the city and comparable gateway cities all saw higher unemployment last month. The statewide unemployment rate rose 0.1% to 4.1%. We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Driver, Fall River Taxi Service, located at 67 Talbot Street, seeks a full-time driver to transport non-emergency medical patients and school transportation for students. Job number 220-57553. Engineering Technician. Whirlpool Corporation, located at 88 Current Road, is looking for a full-time engineering technician to train inspectors and technicians in tools and technology to properly inspect products. Job number 220-50366. Pharmacy Technician. CVS Health, located at 550 Pleasant Street, is seeking a full-time pharmacy technician responsible for helping the pharmacist perform daily tasks to serve customers. Job number 220-57939. Sewing Machine Operator. Vanson Leathers, located at 951 Broadway, is looking for a full-time sewing machine operator. For more information, call 508-678-2000. Atlantis Charter School, located at 991 Jefferson Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions: basketball scoreboard and scorebook operator. job number 220-493-99. Grades K through 6, substitute paraprofessional, job number 220-493-96. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.ol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Time now for our weekly check-in on real estate and development news across Fall River. I'm joined, as I have been for the past few weeks, by Kevin Lawrence. He's the owner, publisher, and editor of Fall River Development News on Facebook. Kevin, how are you?
Very well.
All right, let's get right to it this week. We got a few things on the plate. First and foremost, a lot of people may know the waterfront by, of course, Heritage State Park and the Carousel and the Battleship, and even now the Thomas Norton State Pier. But there's a little piece of land between the city pier and Point Gloria that the Redevelopment Authority has been working on developing in some way, shape, or form. And there's some movement on that. Talk about Northfield Point.
Yeah, Northfield Point is a spit of land. It's two forks that jut out into the Taunton River. It's between Point Gloria and the city pier, which has been beautifully redeveloped. They want to create a recreation area there with fishing and a walkway. Right now, it's an overgrown parcel of land. They were doing some contamination testing on that. I think it went well. So they're planning now, according to the last Redevelopment Authority meeting, to start construction on Northfield Point along the Taunton River sometime in late 2025 or 2026. They have some grant money they're expecting to pay for the project. So that'll be a nice addition to the Fall River waterfront in the near future.
Yeah, definitely tie up that space between, the city pier and Point Gloria. So that'll be a nice developed area all the way up to Point Gloria and beyond.
Yeah.
All right, next up on our list, we've been talking a lot about what may happen on Duval Street as Route 79 is being reconstructed, all that land that's going to be in the middle there once that's done for development. But there's also been development right on Duval Street, I guess, if you're heading north, sort of on the east side there. There's been some development there, and there's going to be another one coming up at around 609 Duval Street.
Yes, 609 Duval Street, 577 Duval Street, and now a parcel of land at the corner of Turner and Duval Street. That area is making news because the Fall River Redevelopment Authority sold the parcel of land at the corner of Turner and Duval. What's going to be constructed there is a 68-unit mixed-use building. 68 units of market rate housing, and there'll be 2 commercial tenants on the first level of this future mixed use property along the Fall River waterfront. I want to clarify it. This is near the gas station on Duval Street and the Bay Coast Bank and another 6-story market rate housing complex on Duval Street. So it's 3 parcels of land that are being cobbled together. A Newton, Massachusetts-based developer has been working on this for the last several years. He finally has all 3 parcels of land, and hopefully construction will start maybe sometime in 2025 or 2026 on this future mixed-use waterfront development. It's quite stunning. It's going to be 6 stories, and the renderings, as you're going to show your viewers, look quite beautiful.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to some restaurant news. People always like to find out some places to eat. One is actually an existing location that some people may know that City Councilor Cliff Ponte in Fall River and his family own Almack's Diner. He's also delved into a partnership and in part ownership of New York Bagel Company, which has a location not far from us here at Bristol Community College at President Avenue and Ellsbury Street. They also have another Almack's on the Go location in the far south end. And it looks like that location is sort of going to be like a combination of an Almack's and the bagel shop, correct?
Actually, so this location of Almack's to Go, the second location of Almack's Diner, which is more like a coffee shop, it's not a full-fledged diner, is going to be completely turned into a New York Bagel in the month of February. Cliff Ponte and his partner Kyle Lima own the operation. They currently have that location on President Avenue in Fall River. They also have a Dartmouth location. Cliff also opened up a new location in Taunton, and this will be his 4th location of New York Bagel. So there'll be 2 within the city of Fall River, one in the north end and now one in the south end on Newton Street. And if you're not familiar with the Newton Street location, this is near Aldi and Ocean State Job Lot. It's directly across the street.
Right. And finally, this week, a cafe that is on New Boston Road is going to be expanding its menu, if you will, in terms of, again, a recent licensing board ruling.
Yeah, this is a new cafe. It's called the Troya Cafe. It's been open since July of 2024. For your viewers, it's directly across from New Boston Bakery, which is very popular on New Boston Road. The Troya Cafe was primarily a smoothies and coffee shop. The owner of that venue recently got licensing board approval for a wine and beer license, and he is going to be expanding his hours. Pretty much it was a breakfast and lunch place, and now he's going to expand into nighttime hours, offering plates such as shareable plates, cheese plates, shrimp cocktail, chicken dishes, charcuterie boards, and it's going to be more of a family-style restaurant, according to the owner of the Troya Cafe. So that'll bring some nightlife onto New Boston Road, because primarily any shops or restaurants are only open during the daytime hours. This will be one of the few that'll be open at night, besides Highland Pizza in that area.
All right. For more information, you can follow Kevin on Facebook, Fall River Development News. You can get all this information before we talk about it here many times. Kevin, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week.
Thank you, Keith.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today with us we have Snuggles. He is roughly about 2 years old. He's a little bit shy, but he does live up to his name. Once he warms up to you, he is a snuggle bug. I think with him, if anything, with older kids, only because he is so shy. Now, he wasn't owned to surrender, no fault of his own. It was due to a moving situation. He definitely loves to snuggle, and especially if you can scratch around the ears or those cheeks, he'll melt right into your arms. So if you have a quieter home and you're looking for a cuddly cat, he would be a good one. Call Forever Paws Animal Shelter, make an appointment to come see him. You won't be disappointed. All of our contact information is at foreverpaws.com. We also have applications on there as well. But yeah, definitely fill out an application and come see him.
Today we bring you Beowulf. Not Beowulf, but the wolf, Beowulf. He is a 3-year-old pit mix. He came to us about, they say about a week or so ago. We've been getting to know him. He is a very energetic dude, very, very energetic. Does need some work with his leash training, but in other ways, he is very good. He knows a lot of his cues. For example, sit, shake. He'll even give you an alternate paw. With him, like no children, since we don't have a history with him with children, and he's very, very active. We do need folks in his particular case to own their own home. If you want to come see Beowulf, you can come down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts at Forever Paws Animal Shelter. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. If not for Beowulf, then for any of our dogs, cats, or small animals.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website at frmedia.org for local news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. on Channel 95 and Fall River HD, located on Channel 1072. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.